Every year in February, the Northtown shopping mall hosts its annual Model Railroader Show. Every size of train imaginable is on display, from the large G scale all the way down to the smallest Z scale. The orange train that you see here is a standard scale built in the 1920s. Here we have a whole table of standard scale. These are very old models. Some people like to build their own from scratch, and this locomotive is entirely built of wood. These models are O-scale. They use a two-rail track, and down to the last minute detail they are absolutely true to scale. These are called traction cars, modeling the old streetcars. When the third rail is added to O-scale, we call that tin plate, because most of it was painted tin, made famous by the Lionel Corporation. Shown here are Lionel trains that are painted to match the real trains or the prototype. To help your imagination bring these models to life, I have added real railroad sound behind most of these pictures. Lionel trains are most famous for their operating accessories. Here we see one train going over the bridge, and the electrical mechanism causes the other train to stop, and then throws the switch so it doesn't derail, and then throws the other switch on the other side of the bridge to make sure it goes off on its own route again. Here we see the first train coming around again, and you notice the train in the back slowing down. When the other is safely across, the second train can pass. These are the American Flyer displays. American Flyer was the biggest competition that Lionel had back in the 50s. They also had the operating accessories. American Flyer was built in S scale. That's slightly smaller than O. And American Flyer's big claim to fame was that it came out with an excellent chugging sound long before Lionel did. I've left off the real railroad sound so you can hear a little bit of that here. Nowadays, the most popular scale is HO scale, shown here. HO stands for half O gauge. Some of the models are built in brass and they can become quite expensive. Even though HO is smaller than Lionel 3-rail, it is much more realistic. Again, it goes back to the 2-rail track. The nice thing about HO is that it doesn't take up as much space as O or G gauge. Let's take a look at some of the HO displays now with some real rail sounds. of modelers that like to depict circus scenes only. It doesn't matter if the trains are there or not, they like to take each big top apart and show us exactly how it was built. To simulate lighting at night, day-glow paint is painted on the models and black lights are used to illuminate it. Here we see a circus train with every detail brought out. Even some of the old posters are collected and put on display as well. Many modelers specialize in extremely detailed buildings. This display is also HO, but it's modeled after the narrow gauge railroads whose tracks were 3 feet apart. Because nobody can build a layout this large in their basement, these people join clubs that are called module clubs. And each person builds his own module at his home to a certain specification, and then they are all bolted together to form this huge layout. Several trains can run on the same mainline track with an electrical technique called blocking. That is, electricity is supplied to only a portion of the layout. If there's one train in that portion, it will run at the speed the person in control of that section is telling it to. Other trains can operate at different speeds in different portions of the layout. This amazing action-packed layout is modeled in N-scale. N-scale is smaller than HO, and again it allows much more railroading to take place in a smaller area. I hope you've enjoyed this look at model railroading, the hobby that everyone can enjoy, and that you'll come out next February to the Northtown Model Railroad Show.